Hello, this is going to be a playthrough of Sid Meier's Colonization 4 with the We the People mod, version 4.2.1. Customs. And we're going to be using the America's Gigantic map scenario, which will have the actual map of the world be generated instead of a custom or a random map. Which one should I choose? Yes, Swedes. We'll set it to build up mode. 2 colony catchment radius, or 2 plot colony catchment radius. No hidden variables. Remove world builder. And just to make it easier to see, reveal goodie huts always display colored circles. All of those options except for maybe the no hidden variables was added by the mod. Oh, perfect. Now, we spawned on the east coast of the United States, as you can see, hopefully. And this is our first little colony here, Fort Christina. I'm gonna have the Dragoon Scout, and I'm gonna double click on the settlement and assign the indentured servant we saved to produce lumber for us. And then I'm gonna temporarily have this expert farmer work on increasing our city's production. Now, as you can see, there's a few more things that got added to the city screen, such as an increased working radius of the city. And this has a lot more stuff that can be built, which we have not unlocked yet, as we still only have a camp. As you can see, we have a well and corn chamber that were given to us free because of Sweden's special abilities. Short explanation for what some of these are. Culture, that basically increases how far our territorial claims expand from the city. Liberty Bells, we need that to declare revolution. The more this bar gets filled up from Liberty Bells, the more people will work, and the closer we can declare a revolution. Because once all cities have 50%, it might be more because I can't remember if it actually includes units on the map when it's doing the calculation. But once all cities are at 50%, we can declare independence. Crosses, which are made in chapels and churches, are basically just immigration. Education, that's if we had like a school or something and we had people working in there. That would be like, I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it's like you need a certain amount of education points built up over the turns before someone graduates from the school. And then law, this is something the mod added, as well as culture. But law, if it gets into the negatives, people will sometimes steal money out of your treasury. Or they could, I think in rare cases, start rioting. Happiness, you want to keep this in the positives. You can let it go in the neutral, but having them be happy gets you some bonuses. If they get unhappy, they will riot. It's just a matter of when, not if. With it being more likely the more unhappy they are. And health, this is something that you do need to pay attention to, because if the health gets down into the negatives, it reduces production. I believe it's something like 50% when it's at its lowest point. There's not much we can do to improve it anymore, because we already get wells for free. And we need to upgrade to a village hall before we can have access to doctor's offices. But this should be enough for a decent population. At least when you're starting. Or any new city, really. Harbor space, you can actually only have so many ships in your city before you just can't put any more ships in the city with this mod. And there's also barrack space, which is basically just how many units you can have stationed in the city. If you try to go over it, it won't let you move the unit into the city. It'll be forced to sit outside the city. And storage, if you're familiar with the vanilla game, you know that this is just how much stuff your city can hold before it just starts losing stuff. Guess immigration would be nice. Oh. Talk with chief. It's always good to send people to talk with the chiefs of native villages, as then you can learn what they can teach your colonists to do, and they'll usually, if you're the first one to get there, give you a nice little present, which can be really helpful at the start of the game. Do not ask me again. Exploring ruins is also a good way to get some starting capital, because you will need money at the start. There's just no getting around it. Merchant vessel. Any wrecks around here? Hello. Oh, there's Spain. Colonized the Bahamas. It's only 100 coins. I do want the maximum tax rate to go down, and not making him angry this early is a good thing too. As that'll hopefully mean he won't increase my taxes so soon. No, I do not want to declare war. Are you insane? Rice farmer. Okay. Let's see who's camping here. Oh, a mercenary. Good, we have a town guard. So one thing to keep in mind, if you don't have a guard in a city, once it reaches a certain size, I think it's like, I believe it's for people living inside a city, it will start rioting because you don't have anyone guarding the city. I might have the wrong number, but I'd like to think it's 4. And generally it's fair to just keep at least one guard in a city, just because there are some events that can cause you to regret not having a guard in your city. And events are usually going to be the windows that pop up on the top right here. As I forgot to mention this earlier, when the decision about what bonus the camp should get, or city center should get, that's a decision event where you have to make a choice, basically. And there's the normal events where it's just like, oh, X has happened. Or it's a event where it's like, oh, you have reached X amount of cities, for example. Which isn't really an event, it's just telling you, hey, you hit this milestone. Yeah, let's take out this animal encampment. Yes, I will explore. Now, I can't say this with certainty, but wild animals will spawn from animal layers. At least I think they do, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. But, and I'm not including like humpback whales in this. I have no clue how they spawn from the ocean. But they will attack civilian units that are outside your city areas, or the areas you have claimed. So if you see them, especially if they're near your territory, usually it's better to clear them out, just to be on the safe side. Let's bring you over here and see what he has to trade. Hopefully I can buy it for the cheap and then sell it back at Europe for money, as I'm still gonna need more money for setting up a colony. Oh, cool, it's done. I want a market next, please. The French. No, I do not particularly want to talk to you right now, French people. Oh, cool, he does have furs. Please, yes, good. So he does have a happy enough opinion of us to give us the furs for basically 1 coin. And this is how we start our Native American trading empire. Or our trading empire with Native Americans. basically doing what the French did in real life. Well, also actually colonizing stuff. Oh, you have premium for that sells for more. But that price, that's what, 500-ish? 7... Eh, we'll accept. And with that, our cargo space is full. So let's send you back to Europe and get some nice profit. And also bring in more work for the colony. Yes. This is a decent thing. Because this is one of the ways you can make your colonists happier, is by having treaties with other European colonies. On the opposite side, if you're at war, crime goes up, and people become unhappy. So, you do have to be more careful about when you declare wars, as if your colony is already on the verge of riots, it's probably not a good idea to declare war. At least until you fix some things, so that way you aren't going to have to worry about riots back home. I wonder where he settled. You don't like me enough to give me a world map. That's annoying. Who are you? We'll probably level up by now. And our ship has arrived at Europe. I thought it would take a bit longer, but oh well. This will get us a nice amount of money. Yeah. And thankfully, we're still below the worrisome area. Hardy Pioneer is 3,000 gold. We don't have 3,000, so... The Injured Servant, I want to... Oh, I should probably explain this. So, this indentured servant is currently sitting in cold Europe, waiting to be picked up by putting him on the ship and sending the ship to the New World with him. We can actually double-click on him and change his current profession, which will then buy the supplies for like what we're trying to turn him into at Europe while he's sitting on the dock, which is why I was trying to get money for this. If we had 3,000, I would have bought a Hardy Pioneer, but since we don't have 3,000, and I don't need to worry about getting a guard or anything, I'm going to turn him into a Pioneer, which is basically a worker in the normal Civ game, who goes around and builds different improvements on the terrain. It's also hurrying the immigration of someone. So I can have the farmer go back to being a farmer instead of pretending to be a carpenter and smashing his thumb every 5 seconds. Oh, there's bear. The event about reaching the first milestone of selling goods back home. Oh, we found another worker. Make your way back home. Now, currently, we're just selling raw materials basically back home to Europe, which isn't gonna get us a lot of profit, sadly, even though we are buying them off the natives, so that also reduces profit. But we aren't exactly producing anything at the moment in our settlement, so not much we can do about that yet. As we need more people if we're actually gonna start producing stuff, as 2 people Not enough, not unless I want to severely slow down construction. Because, like, see, it went to 45 turns instead of 9. So, yeah. This, at least for me, is going to be the opening, because I don't want to spare people to produce stuff. I want to get buildings built, so that way I can manufacture better stuff. And market is good, because it also opens up domestic consumption instead of having to go all the way to Europe to sell. Which, that is a neat thing that the mod adds. Your citizens, after you've built a market, will start demanding goods to buy. Now, it's gonna start off small because we only have like 2 people, and I can't exactly show you any of the domestic demand yet because we don't have the market done. Yeah, we'll take the hemp and sell it. Let's see if I can get a good deal from Logan. And we're gonna have our pioneer be able to farm there, so that way our farmer is better. And we can have this guy become the new carpenter. Which, that's good because now our town will have more food, which means hopefully we'll have someone else come in soon, or another unit be born soon. Another thing that is useful to know is that improvements cost money to build. Farms are pretty cheap. Simple roads are cheap. Forts, however, are really expensive, as you can see, as it's 250 gold. That's like a fifth of what I have at the moment. Monastery? Also somewhat expensive, but nowhere near as much as a fort. So let's build a farm there, and then explore this ruin. Oh, more treasure. Just keep getting a lot of treasure. You want about 2 coins. Fine. Don't particularly like that price, but it's still okay. If it gets higher than 2, though, I'm not gonna buy it. Because then it's just not worth the time. Oh, another military unit. I don't have much use for you at the moment, so you can guard my next potential town site. Which, that should have been sent there. I want to get more gold, just so that way if an event happens, I have enough to pay it off. I don't have a dock yet, so I can't just directly sell them to the king. That should be next on the list to build. Let's send you to Europe now. Five turns. That's nice. You sit there. You get the first march ability, so that way you can go further. Oh, map. Just hoping for more money, but oh well. No, I do not want war. Not insane. I will say this. Don't start a war this early unless you're willing to have your colony raised. I guess the English talked to you first. That's disappointing. Still can't sell that. Hopefully we can get to those ruins before the English or French do. Oh, that could be a good way to get money. Charcoal. Charcoal turns gunpowder. Oh. Market done. So next is the pier. Build 5 markets. Yeah, that's good. Disappointment. That was not a good pull from the goody hut. Instead we got damaged. So that stuff up.
Ja,
That guy up.
rakt fram.
There. No, I'm not starting war. Let's speak with the chief. Oh, experience. And have you heal. That's gonna put a short stop to our exploration. So this that just popped up is a quest. There's a bunch of these in the mod. A lot of them come from being told to sell X amount of goods to either Europe, Africa, or Port Royal before any other nation does. Just accept it. Oh good, it's showing up. Sadly that does not track it. They said something about the domestic advisor maybe tracking it? Oh, domestic advisor. General domestic market. No, this is new. Happiness. Production. Buildings? Okay. Exported goods to Europe. That's nice, you can actually keep track of it now. Route planning. I'm not sure how useful this is until I have another city and start trying to do that. Citizens, total production. Oh. Give me a second while I report this. Okay, that's been reported. And let's continue. Trade routes. I guess this will be more helpful once I have a trade route. Education. Not useful at the moment. Native info. Oh, this keeps track of what the different tribes have. Okay. What they want. In their size, although they don't seem to grow for whatever reason. Oh, it really does not like switching back to this. Well... So apparently I'm gonna have to restart this, but good advice is don't mess around with the domestic advisor too much, as it has decided to crash. Oh well. Nice we weren't too far into this. So I guess that's where this episode will end. Hopefully it auto-saved. If it didn't, we'll start from the beginning. Well, goodbye.